Harden finished with 38 points, 11 assists, and 10 rebounds. His 25th career triple-double. Houston outscored Cleveland by 23 points with Harden on the floor. Stephen A., what did Harden do for his MVP case last night for you?
Well, I think he solidified that he's going to be the guy, whether it's co-MVP or overall league MVP. The dude just shows up, and he gets it done. And unlike Russell Westbrook, he's winning more frequently. And so that's really the deal. I mean, when we look at Houston, let's not fool ourselves. Louis Williams can play. Trevor Ariza can play. Ryan Anderson can play. I love the acquisition of Louis Williams again. Clint Capella, he's impressed me more and more. And you can't find a bigger fan of Patrick Beverley than me. If you have a team in the NBA, you want a Patrick Beverley on your team. He is a rough rider. He ain't scared of anything. He's improving on his shot. He doesn't shrink in moments.
Winning player.
This dude is a winner. I want Patrick Beverley on my team. Having said all of that, Houston is going to the lottery if it were not for James Harden. This brother is just on another level. And putting the ball in his hands, watching him get into the lane at will, draw fouls, get people in foul trouble, step back, hit threes. He does it all on the offensive end of the floor. He is that special. So for me, when you combine that with the fact that they are winning basketball games, what I saw last night just reminded me of what I already knew. When the season is over and it is time to crown MVP, James Harden's name better be on that damn trophy. Whether it's a co-MVP or MVP by himself, there is nothing to talk about in that regard.
Okay. I quote John Maynard Keynes, the economist, on this show from time to time. I've been doing it a lot recently.
Okay.
When the facts change, so does my opinion.
Yeah.
What do you do, sir? Well, to start the season, I thought Westbrook would win the MVP. And he's averaging a triple-double. And if you would have told me that, I'd have said, okay, for sure, he's going to be the MVP. And I've always believed that Westbrook is better than Harden because I saw them on the same team. There was a reason Harden was coming off the bench. Well, because they somehow didn't play perfectly together with Durant and everything. Yeah, but it wasn't Westbrook on the bench. It was Harden on the bench. Why is that? Because Westbrook's better. I think in reality, LeBron's the MVP every year, and I wouldn't trade Kawhi for Harden or Westbrook. All of that said, I have to concede at this point that based on the criteria used for regular season MVP at this moment, I give it to James Harden. Whether or not I think, well, Westbrook...
Stop the press. Are you conceding that this year, I understand what your overall vision is, so I'm not going to hold you accountable, but you're conceded that as of this year, you are willing to sit here and confess. Stephen A., you're right. James Harden is the MVP.
At this moment in time.
Because the facts have changed.
The facts have
you
changed.
Heard the economist.
Now, I knew.
I'm going to let you pass because it's your brilliance of agreeing with me that's impressive.
I will not let you pass on the other hand because to start the season, D'Antoni was going to use him as a point guard, and you thought that wasn't a great idea. I thought it was a great idea. He's primary ball handler in a D'Antoni offense. He's going to look amazing. And I knew they'd win a lot and they'd be an exciting team. Credit Daryl Morey also, not just D'Antoni, for putting the requisite pieces around James Harden. You mentioned without Harden, they're a lottery team, and you're right. But that's because the team is perfectly built around him. In a way, for example, the Pelicans right now, they got Boogie Cousins. Why do they lose when he's on the floor? Well, if you built the right team around he and Cousins and Anthony Davis, they'd look a lot better. The perfect team is around Harden, the perfect coach for him. But even though I knew all that and they would do well and he'd put up big numbers, I didn't know they'd do this well. I have to concede. Harden is playing on an incredibly high level. That team is functioning on an incredibly high level. You have to credit not only Mike D'Antoni, but also Daryl Morey for putting it together, and ultimately James Harden for making it all work. Because you could have the perfect plan and the perfect pieces, but if he's not playing like this, it doesn't matter. At this moment, James Harden is the regular season MVP. Even though my vote would go to LeBron because to hell with the criteria is wrong. But based on the criteria right now, apologies to Russell Westbrook, it is James Harden.
James Harden is 46-21. That is 21 games over 500. He's also the #3 seed in the Western Conference. The two teams above him is the juggernaut that is the Golden State Warriors and the San Antonio Spurs, who just entered the playoffs, who just clinched the playoff spot for the 20th consecutive season. Those are the two teams that are ahead. And by the way, when the Warriors have gone against the Rockets this year, there have been a couple of victories in the Rockets' favor. So you take all of those things into consideration. It is what it is because James Harden is averaging 29, and 11-8 right now. 29, 11, and 8. So we got to consider that. When you talk about him at the point guard spot, the reason why I didn't want him at the point guard spot is because, and this is one of the biggest reasons he deserves MVP, I never dreamed in my wildest dreams he would change his ways. The willingness.
Get rid of the ball.
The willingness to get rid of the ball.
Instead of dribbling out the shot clock and then passing the last second if his shot's not there. You're right.
Forget the parts around him because Ryan Anderson, Louis Williams, upgrade, stuff like that. James Harden actually trusted his coach and said, I'm going to do what you say, and he modified his approach, and it's working. That is the biggest reason. That's a big deal for somebody.
Last thing real quick. Anyone notice that LeBron's throwing in a lot of triple-doubles recently, and the three ball is falling for LeBron?
Huh? But they're losing. They'll get it together.
Speaking of LeBron, Larry Sanders has agreed to a new deal with the Cavs, that according to our Chris Haynes. Stephen A. alluded to this earlier. Andre Iguodala making news for not what he did on the court, but instead of what he said off of it. We are going to get into all of that. And what are teams willing to give up for Tony Romo? The Cowboys found out, and we will tell you that and react after the break. Got a little text. How do you feel right now?